So in this video, we will cover the basics of transits, right? So as I mentioned in the previous videos, there are 3 static systems in CP astrology and 2 dynamic systems. When it says systems, it is an element of the chart, right? So the planetary table is fixed at the time of birth. The cuspal table is fixed at the time of birth. The sign table, sign chart is fixed at the time of birth, okay? 2 elements are which are dynamic or dasa. We covered the dasa row calculations and what is the first row, which is the first dasa at the time of birth, which is nothing but the starting from the star lord or the moon. There are 5 dasa lords, which is dasa, bhukti, antaram, sukshma, and prana. So this dasa keeps moving every second forward, okay, as long as you live, right? The other subsystem which is dynamic is called transit, and this is the subject of this particular video, right? So we'll cover what transit is and understand how planets move, correct? Now, if planets don't stay stationary, right? So if you look at the astrological or the zodiac circle, and again, I'm going back to the basic chart, which sign chart we drew in multiple videos. And this will be a good explanation to simple explanation to understand how transit works, okay? Slowly we enhance knowledge of this, correct? So first we said we introduced the concept of sign, okay? So I said this is the first sign, Mesham. This is the 12th sign, Meenam, and we gave a name for every sign, okay? This is Tula, like that, right? The second thing we did was we actually introduced the concept of cusp, okay? Depending on the time of birth, the chart will have a, so we'll have a we'll have 12 cusps, right? So maybe the first cusp is here, the second cusp is here, the third is here, fourth is here, 5 is here, 6, 7 is here, 8 and 9 is here, 10, 11 is here, 12 is here. And we said, it will be unequal procedures. And this will lead to the cuspal table, okay? Which is the first element of a static subsystem in the chart. Sign table, this is the first element, sorry, cuspal table is the second element, okay? Then we'll set put the planets at the time of birth in the sign table. So maybe moon is here, Mars is here, Rahu is here, then Venus is here, depending on it, so sun is here, Saturn is here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Jupiter is here. So Rahu, we said it will be on the 7th position, Ketu, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ketu will always be here. So we said we put the planet systems and we put the planetary table, which is the third static subsystems, okay? We also introduced the concept of SSS, correct? SSS, what does it mean? Every point, we said that every sign will have, this will have 30 degrees. It's divided into stars, and the stars is divided into sub, okay? We also explain how this movement from star to sub happens. We explained the concept of, the dasa cycle, which is 120 years. We calculate the weighted average of dasa cycle, which is, let's say for Ketu, it is 7 by 120 for Ketu. And this gets added to you divide the star degree by 9 subdivisions and you get into sublot, okay? And we said this SSS combination, Mr. Krishnamurti has prepared a 249 table. So basically, this the entire sign chart will have 249 SSS combination starting from Mesha Rasi going up to Meena Rasi, okay? So the planet or the cusp should fall with any one of the 249 combinations. That's a universal rule, okay? So we said that the the planets at the time of birth might be in, let's say, 249, row number 3. Okay, moon is in 249, row number 35. That is how it works, right? So the CT, PT, and the sign lord, the software will automatically calculate the SSS combination and list it for you. And I'll give you some examples of, I'll show you some sample charts, how it gets done in the true astrology software, right? We also covered the concept of dasas. Okay, we said, what is a dasa? The dasa is, take the moon, take the star lord of moon, leave the sign lord out, star lord of moon, the sub lord of moon, sub lord of moon, and prana lord of moon. So let's say moon is in Mars sign, it is in Venus star, it is in Ketu substar, it is in Mars sub star, and it is in moon prana star. Then these combinations will form the dasa. Okay, the software automatically gives you these 5 combinations, so you get a dasa table here which will have these combinations, right? It will have Venus, Ketu, Mars, Moon. You'll have a start time and end time, and Dasa Chakra will move. And this is a dynamic system, the first dynamic system in the whole chart, right? See, cuspal table, planetary table, and sign table are static systems. This is the first dynamic system. Now, if everything stays the same forever, then I think life is easy, right? Doesn't happen. The planets keep moving. Okay, so today moon, that's how the moon, today it is in one house, tomorrow will be the next house, day after tomorrow will be the similar house. Jupiter will move from one house to the other house in 1.5 years approximately. Okay, Saturn will move from one house to the other in 2.5 years approximately. So I have listed down the transit cycle. Now this is the beauty of astrology, right? So you have a 2 dynamic systems, which is dasa and the transit, interacting with 3 static systems, which is cuspal table, the planetary table, and the sign table, to give you the predictions. Okay, and I'll explain why this level of detail is needed, because there are billions of people on Earth. Okay, and each person doesn't have the same experience. So unless you get into this kind of granularity of prediction, then the prediction will be common for a lot of people, which doesn't happen in life. No 2 lives are the same, correct? So I think it is different. Now, in the transit table, there is only one thing I want to probably say, that is, I have given the transit times here. So sun moves in 1 month, moon moves in 2.25 days, Mars is 45 days, Mercury is 21 days, Jupiter is 12.5 months, Venus is 26 days, Saturn is 2.5 years, and Rahu and Ketu is 19 months. This is what happened, right? The only difference in transit is all planets move clockwise in the zodiac circle, except, very important, Rahu and Ketu, which moves anti-clockwise. This is a very important thing the students of astrology should know. So Rahu, Ketu, anti-clockwise, rest clockwise. Now, when you open up a daily calendar, you will find that today is this nakshatra. Okay, tomorrow is different nakshatra, which basically means the moon is moved from one sign to the other sign on that particular date. Okay, and every planet will carry a triplets combination. Cusp combination doesn't change; it is the fixed at the time of birth. But the moon combination, the time of birth is fixed. But the moon combination, the transit will change the moon from one location to the other, depending on the transit cycle. Okay, so you should understand this concept, that I think we've reached the highest level of complexity of understanding, right? And the reason I introduced some of the mathematical models is you should understand as a student how it is being done, why it is being done. But once you get the basic knowledge, once you use the proper software, all this will be automatically taken care, right? So basically, this explains what transit is. You will find that, when major planets move, when I say major planets, it's Saturn, it's Jupiter, it's Rahu, Ketu. I would also include Mars to a certain extent, okay, and Sun to a lesser extent, but Mars is definitely there. These planets, when they move, the impact on the chart is very, very high, because I tell you why. The reason is, these are all slow moving planets. Saturn changes every 2.5 years. Ketu changes every 19 months. Jupiter. So when you get into trouble during the dasas, right, it stays for long. And if you have the pleasure of these dasas, I think it gives you a lot of benefits during that period, right? So always watch the big transits to see. I think they will create big changes in your life, because transit will take the planet to a different sign lord itself, from one sign to the other. Transit within the sign will happen more frequently, and I'll explain how that impacts the predictions later on. Okay, so this is the basics of transit. So in summary, I think we have covered probably the most complex part of understanding in few videos, right? 3 static subsystems, 2 dynamic systems: planetary table, customary table, sign table, dasa, kal chakra, transit movement, all linked to SSS. This is also linked into SSS, will lead to prediction. So I've summarized the entire CP theory in one slide, and over the past videos, we have covered PT, we have covered CT, we have covered ST in detail, we have covered the dasas, we have covered the transit, we explained how the SSS combination is, and we have done it, right? So this concludes probably there'll be some few items left, I think I'll cover in the next few videos, but this concludes the basic understanding of a chart. When you use the software which I recommended called the CP Astrology, you will find all these elements in one page. You should be able to understand what each element is, like a PT, CT, ST, what the dasa is, what the transit is, and you should be able to use the software to make predictions on lives and events. Okay. In the next set of videos, I will dedicate probably, explain why we need this level of detail in mathematical calculations. Why? Why can't it be simple? Okay. If you go to a normal, traditional Vedic astrologer, there is no SSS. Okay, it is only sign lord, correct? So he or she will give you a very simple chart, which will tell you, which is equal distribution. This is how they'll give you the chart. Okay, simple chart like this, equal distribution with 1, 2, 3, all equal. There is no Placidus, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There'll be one position here, which is Mars, will have only SS. So if you know Mars, it will know in this sign. This will be Sun will be here, Jupiter will be here. There is no SS combination, only the sign rod will be available. And if you give this kind of input, let's say child 1 is born in Chennai at 10 a.m. in hospital. Child 2 is also born in, let's say, Chennai itself at 10:15. All the planets wouldn't have changed. because moon doesn't change much. Moon doesn't change sign. Moon changes sign once a day, not every 15 minutes. Okay. Both the children will have the same chart, Vedic chart. Okay. But are the lives the same? No. Okay. So this is what I'm going to explain in the next few chapters. Why this level of detail is required to predict, to give the predictions. And I think again the credit goes to Krishnamurti sir. He proposes SSS theory primarily to explain how twins' lives can be predicted. Twins are born within a couple of minutes for the same mother, okay? But the lives are not the same. He was finding it very difficult to explain with the Vedic chart, okay? Because the chart will be the same. That means prediction is the same for both the children, right? The firstborn and the secondborn. That is not true. Both are different, right? That is why I introduced this concept of SSS, and that is why we have introduced this planetary table, the cuspal table, the dasa table, and the transitory table based on SSS. And that, I think, with the relevant explanations, when you generate charts with SSS in different places and different time zones, how does it vary? Now, one tip I'll give you is that the SSS of a cusp, right? Let's say cusp 1 for a particular native is Moon, Mars, and Venus. Okay. Cusp 2, let's say it is Mars, sorry, Sun, Moon, Venus. The cusp 2, let's say cusp 3 is Mercury, Mars, Jupiter. This chart, the timing is 10:21 a.m. Okay, time of birth. When you make it 10:23, most likely this will change. So the accuracy you get with this SSR model is up to 2 minutes, okay, of birth, which is explainable, which I think, we can probably explain why life varies for twins, right? And that is what the theory of SSS is all about. So we're going to draw the line here where we have covered the basics of what is required to understand a particular chart. The next set of videos are moving into a justification to the viewer why we need this level of detail to predict, and then we will do multiple charts at different time locations, different time zones, how the chart varies for different people. I'll give you a sample of it, and then finally we'll move into prediction models. Okay, thank you.